Hello everyone, so I'm back with another video on this channel, and today we are going to understand what are type annotations and interfaces in TypeScript and how they can be used to understand the various types for a particular function. So with that in mind, let's start off with the session for the day. So before we begin, what we need to do is we need to install npm module, which is TypeScript first, and then tsnode global using npm install -g TypeScript and tsnode. We are going to use tsnode npm module, which allows us to run TypeScript code directly instead of compiling it and then running it. So let's proceed with the actual code. So here we have a basic JavaScript file where we have Axios. Then we have a URL which is pointing to a post data. So if you open this data in browser, we will get some dummy data like this. So JSON placeholder is a dummy website from which we get dummy data. And in this post data, we have user ID, title, and body as the response in the URL. Then we have installed Axios version 0.27 into our package.json, and we have imported Axios at the top of the file. Then we have written axios.get, which will fetch the data from this post. And then we have the then function where we have the response. Then we are storing the response.data in post data variable, and we are logging the variable in post data console.log. So let's try to run this using TS node, which is installed globally, then post.ts. So this will return the post data, and this is the post data that we just saw. So we have user ID, title, and body, and this is the data which is received in the response. Now let's just say we want to define the different variables here. For example, we have the ID here. So ID is equal to post data dot ID. Then we have user ID is equal to post data dot user ID. So we can write all the four variables, or else what we can do is we can use the spread operator or the curly braces, and we can get the data directly using the curly braces like this. So we are getting the data, which is user ID, then title, and then body directly from the post data. So here we get the data in the variables user ID, title, and body. Now the data is stored in these variables. Now let's just say we are passing this data to log post function, where we are going to post the details. So we have passed the variables here, and we are taking those variables and passing them to a log post function, which is supposed to console.log the data. So we'll go with console.log. And let's just say we go with string literal, and we write post data ID is dollar by ID, then title is title, then user ID is dollar user ID, and then we write and body is body. So let's remove the and from here. So this is supposed to log the data into a console.log. Let's try to run our code again and see what we get. So it is fetching the data, then it is throwing an error. So what we need to do is we now need to handle the TypeScript code. So what we can do is we can now define an interface here so that we handle this error. So we write interface, then we write post or post interface. Within that we write ID and provide a data type. So this is how we write interfaces in TypeScript. We write interface followed by all the variables which are present in this data. So we'll write ID, then we will write user ID as string, then title as string, and body as string as well. Then we'll assign this to post data. So response data as post. So this will assign the interface to the data. And then we have an error here. So what we can do is we can change this to user ID and say okay, it is small. So let's keep it small here as well. and it's saved. Then user ID is small here as well. And now let's see what happens. So we are going to run ts not post.ts. And as you can see, we have a body as implicit type. So now we need to assign the types to these different variables. So what we can do is we can assign them like this. So ID is number, user ID is string, title is string as well, and body is string. Now we run ts node post.ts. Okay, let's change this to number and it's saved. Now we run ts node post.ts. And as you can see, we have the data as post data ID is 1, user ID is 1, title is the title text, and body is the body text. Now, what did we do here to fix the errors in our TypeScript code? First of all, we define an interface. So this is how an interface is written. We write post followed by the data types like ID, user ID, title, string. Then we assign the data types to it like number, string, and other stuff. So these are the data types of the variables of the object. Then we pass on those variables to the post data as post. Now, as you can see in the compile time itself, we were able to fix a lot of errors directly. So this is how TypeScript helps us to write better code. Then in this function call, we wrote type annotations. So these are annotations which tell the function what all data types are expected in these parameters. So all these parameters which were passed here, they are annotated or assigned the type in these variables, and from those variables, TypeScript was able to derive the data and print out in the console.log. Now we can comment out this console.log and print out our final statement in this post.txt, which have the post data ID, then user ID, title, and body. So this is the type annotation, and this is the interface in TypeScript. So I hope the concept of type annotations and type interfaces is clear, and we will cover some more TypeScript concepts in the future videos. Thank you for watching till now, and like, share, and subscribe this video if you found this useful. Goodbye and have a nice day.